The 3920 oscilloscope is selectable from any analog or digital test system. We will use the analog duplex test system for this example. The oscilloscope can be selected from any tile containing the drop-down arrow. We will use the meters tile for this example. With the oscilloscope tile highlighted, control soft keys will appear on the right. By selecting the time per division soft keys, then using the expand and contract soft keys, the horizontal time per division can be adjusted. By pressing the return soft key, it will return the user to the main soft keys. From the trace A or trace B soft keys, the expand and contract soft keys will adjust the vertical frequency or volts per division. Using the up-down soft keys will adjust the vertical position of the displayed audio signal. Pressing the return soft key will return the user to the main soft key menu. The trace soft key can be set to either repeat or single. When single is selected, the oscilloscope can be armed to trigger on an audio event. By expanding the oscilloscope with the expand icon in the upper left corner of the oscilloscope tile, the scope can be maximized to full screen. When expanded, trace A can be routed from any one of 7 audio sources. Channel 1 or Channel 2 from the 3920 front panel, audio or audio filtered, D-mod or D-mod filtered, and also the 3920 RF generator modulator. Trace B can only be routed from Channel 1 or Channel 2 BNC connectors on the 3920 front panel. When the trace A or B soft key is pressed, the unit per division scale can be increased or decreased using the expand, contract soft keys. The scale units of measurement change according to the type of measurement being performed. For instance, when trace A is set to D-mod, D-mod filtered, or modulation functions, the units per division will be displayed in frequency per division for FM measurements and percentage of modulation if making an AM measurement. When trace A is set to Channel 1 or Channel 2, audio or audio filtered, unit per division will be displayed in volts per division. Trace B can only be set to Channel 1 or Channel 2 and is displayed in volts per division. The up-down arrow keys control the position field, adjusting the vertical position of the trace on the display field. Pressing the return key will return the user to the soft key menu. We will now press the horizontal soft key. As we've seen earlier in the video, the horizontal scale can be adjusted with the expand contract soft keys. We'll now press the return soft key. We will now press the marker soft key. We'll first enable marker 1. Marker 1 and marker 2 position fields in the lower left below the display designate the marker's position along the horizontal scale, which is measured in time per division. Marker 1 and Marker 2 indications appear as vertical lines along the display field's horizontal axis. The markers can either be set from the marker's position field below the display or can be located on the display using the USB mouse. We will now position Marker 2 to calculate the frequency of our audio signal using the delta function above the signal and highlighted in red. The mode soft key defines the lock-unlock state of marker 1 and marker 2. The lock state links marker 1 and marker 2 together at the current frequency spacing. When the markers are locked, moving marker 1 or marker 2 moves both markers while maintaining the current frequency spacing. Selecting unlocked removes the link between the markers. Marker 3 and 4 position fields designate the marker's position along the vertical scale, which is measured in N per division, where N is the scale unit of measurement, which is defined by the type of measurement being performed. Marker 3 and 4 indicators appear as horizontal lines along the display field's vertical axis. The markers can be removed from the display field by pressing the relevant soft key. Pressing the return key will return us to the main soft key menu. Next is the trace soft key. When the capture soft key is pressed, the current trace is held on the display and is shown in blue. The clear soft key will erase the captured trace from the display. When the Accumulate soft key is set to on, any variations in phase and amplitude are captured and held on the display. Off clears the accumulated trace and resumes normal sweep. We'll now press the return key. Pressing the trigger soft key allows the user to trigger on an audio event and capture the event on the display. We will use this function along with some of the other features that we've talked about in this video to trigger on and capture a tone remote transmission. We will first set the trigger fields highlighted in red, as indicated. Left to right, trace A, level 1 kHz, trigger normal. We will trigger on the rising edge, and we will leave the filter set to no reject. We will then set the trace to single to arm the trigger. We will now set some markers to the timing parameters of our tone remote transmission to test for transmission timing. We will now wait for the event to occur. We can then adjust our markers to check for the various timing parameters. The 3920 oscilloscope is a 2-trace oscilloscope with 4 markers. It has a vertical 3 dB bandwidth of 16 MHz, a frequency range of DC to 4 MHz, with a 40 megasample sampling rate. The input range is 0 to 100 volts peak. The scale is 2 millivolts to 20 volts per division in a 1-2-5 sequence. The accuracy is 5% of full scale DC to 1 MHz, 10% of full scale 1 to 4 MHz. The resolution is better than 1% of full scale. This concludes the brief overview of the 3920 oscilloscope.